Here we have a new 2026 Buick Envista. This one comes in the Avenir trim level. This one's a front wheel drive model. Ocean blue metallic is the paint. And then we have the ebony with terracotta accent leatherette interior. Powertrain consists of a 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine made into a 6-speed automatic transmission. As we come around to the front end here, we do get our LED signature lights as well as our LED headlamps. Love the front fascia here. Just a nice aggressive look while still kind of feeling sophisticated, if that makes sense. But it looks really good in this blue. Love the trim here. We get that kind of galvanized chrome look there. And it just really makes this vehicle pop, I think. Down here to these wheels, these are gonna be 19-inch aluminum wheels. The vehicle's just a little wet because it's been raining, but passive keyless entry on the front, door panel here, power door lock controls, power mirror controls. We do get blind spot monitors in the side mirrors, rear window lock, and then we get express down on all 4 doors. And this one also gets a power lift gate. We can adjust how high it opens, and we just press the button to open and shut it. Headlamp controls are here. Hood release. We get a manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. There's the power driver's seat, 2-way power lumbar support. Now, I do want to give a huge thanks to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this Envista today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. Takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this. Now, I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so we're gonna check out the space. And this is how I would fit behind myself. Pretty good space back here. I apologize for the lighting. Turn this back on. And let's leave the door open. It's just freezing outside, but legroom's pretty good. Seat back pockets are on both sides. You get a USB-C, USB-A charge duo there. Little storage pocket. This middle seat folds down. Bottle holders are there. So grab handle, you can hang a shirt there if you need to. And then your child locks are on the side, so lock, unlock there. Now, one of the coolest things about the Avenirs with a 1.2, or the Envistas with a 1.2, excuse me, is you do get flex fuel. So you can run E85 or gas here. And love the slanted roof line. Now, that does kind of cut into your headroom in the back compared to the Trax, but I like the overall design there. Now, the lights here are LED, but those down there, I can't remember if those are LED or not. But I think they used to be incandescent. They might be LED. You just saw them flash there. And there's a look at the back. Side pocket. And then if you lift this up, spare tire underneath there. There's your button. Now let's see what this light looks like. Y'all tell me in the comments if that's LED or not. Pretty sure that's not, but the reflector makes it look brighter than it actually is, so that helps. Now, as we come around to the rear passenger side, your lower anchors for the car seats are behind the cover there. If you want to fold these flat, push in on either side, and the seat belt's in the way. And then your top tethers right there. I didn't want to take that out. I don't know what's going on there. Ugh. But the top tethers right there. And then you can fold them flat, run longer objects through to the front. And then we have our manual front passenger seat here. Glove compartment with the owner's manual. There's a tent there. And then we can fold this and scoot it up there. So you just have the 4-way capability on the front passenger seat as opposed to the power adjustability on the driver's side. But coming back around to the front, quick look in the engine bay. 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder. And I'm just gonna show off the blinkers before we hop in. So LED in the side mirrors, and then at the front there, let's get out of this awful chill. Oh, it's much better. Nice leather wrap steering wheel here, feels good. Love the flat bottom, and this heated steering wheel is definitely coming in handy today. There's the horn. Now over here to the infotainment system, we do get AM, FM, XM, along with Bluetooth audio. We also get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. And then we have our climate that we can control in the screen here. So single zone automatic climate controls. You also have buttons down below with your 3-stage heated seats. And your hazards button right here. And then traction control, you can control that there. You have a shortcut. And then you do have your gauges if you want to see the trip meter, battery voltage, coolant temperature, or tire pressure, oil life, and then we have the air filter life there. Settings, pretty easy to use. Language, right there. And then scroll down, units of measurement, change that right there. Vehicle settings include teen driver, your rear seat reminder, and then you have your apps here if you want to use those. Backup camera, guidelines follow you. You turn the steering wheel, you can turn those off. Volume knob is here. You can click that to mute the audio or turn the audio source off. And then down here, USB-C, USB-A duo, 12 volt wireless charging pad, auto stop toggle, and then you have the lane keeping assist there. And for the shifter, hit the brake, pull on the lever, reverse, neutral drive. You have your low mode there, and then you can use this toggle here to go through those gears. And you can see where you are at the bottom part of the gauge cluster there, what gear you're being limited to. Electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. There's the roof. And then we can slide it or tilt it back. So that's a one-touch slide. And you can one-touch shut it back as well. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. And then you have the vanity mirror. But back to the front here, blinkers, high beams. You do get the automatic wipers, so one time off, auto, low, high. You can adjust that auto frequency there. Pull up for the front fluid. Behind the steering wheel on the left side, we can go through our track list, radio station presets, and behind on the right side, we can toggle volume up, volume down. We get the adaptive cruise, so we can turn cruise on there and hold this cancel button to go between adaptive and regular. And then we can also set the speed, gap adjust for the adaptive cruise and the forward collision alerts there. And then we have our mute voice recognition, and then this will pull up the audio source. And we can scroll through here. Phone there, we can scroll through, and then we can also just press this to change the gauge faces in the middle. Now in transport mode, we can't do any of that, so that's why it hasn't done anything. But push button starts here. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2026 Buick Envista Avenir out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Envista here, I really think the Avenir just on paper is worth paying the extra money compared to getting a less expensive, a preferred, maybe even a sport touring. I just really like the Avenir just having everything that this one has. The package that it gives you, the adaptive cruise control, you get the blind spot monitors here. You just get so much for a small amount of money compared to other vehicles. Now, a lot of people think paying over 30 grand for a turbo 3-cylinder is not nice, but I think it's worth it. I mean, you get 28 miles per gallon city, 32 highway. It doesn't really make sense to have more cylinders in a vehicle that's not really going to be doing that much in terms of just getting up to speed. You have the turbo there, but other than that, you're going to be, you know, just cruising. Here we go. So perfect example, this thing gets up to speed, it pulls hard, it's a 3-cylinder, it's turboed, but once you get up to speed, it doesn't make sense to have 6 cylinders, heck, even 4 cylinders in a vehicle like this when you could maximize your fuel economy, specifically in the city. I mean, 28 miles per gallon in the city is fantastic, especially if you do a lot of stop and go driving. And then having auto stop is nice too, because you don't realize how much gas you're wasting when you're sitting at a stop until you average your fuel economy and you're watching it just tick down because the engine's running and you're doing nothing. But still rides relatively good like a Buick. Very smooth ride. And it's comfortable. I want to give one more thanks to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this Envista today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Now, in terms of what you get for the money, I do think, again, this is a pretty practical option because it's the top trim and because it's an Envista. There's not that big of a price difference between this and the lowest trim Envista as opposed to getting a Yukon Elevation and a Yukon Denali Ultimate. The spread's just not that big because these vehicles are just inexpensive to begin with. Now, if money is tight, then, you know, obviously I say go with the preferred. It does everything that you need. But if you want to have something that's very nice, you don't want to break the bank, and you want something that looks good, this is a good way to go. Ride quality is great. If you don't care about how the turbo 3-cylinder drives, not going to be a big issue. I mean, you have a traditional 6-speed automatic, which is good. The tech you get here is great. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. And it's the way that I would do one of these, because a preferred might run you mid-20s when you can get this loaded out with adaptive cruise control, all the creature comforts that you want in a top trim Buick. But if it's only you and you don't care about towing and you're not gonna have the car full with the kids, this is awesome because your fuel economy is great, easy to drive, smaller footprint overall, but you still have, again, all of the features that you would want in, let's say, an Enclave Avenir with the moon roof, the heated steering wheel, heated seats. And again, having adaptive cruise control is just, it's magnificent, especially driving in the traffic that we have around here. Keeps your head from exploding with road rage. Let me just put it that way. But on top of that, it's quiet. It's a 3-cylinder turbo, and you know, when you give it throttle, it has a nice sound to it. It's not overly aggressive, but it's not wimpy either. But most of the time when you're cruising like I am, you can barely hear the engine unless you're listening for it. And again, it just it's easy to drive. 3 cylinders, that's 3 less than you'd have to worry about on an outgoing Enclave with a V6. And these have shown that they're relatively reliable so far. But all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2026 Buick Envista, and this one is in the Avenir trim level.